welcome to today's episode of the Group Therapy Podcast. Today we have returning guest and all around cool guy. We got Hawk from HawkNLoad. So how's Hawk been?
Hawk's been good, man.
Cool.
Taking care of this dog mostly. I'm busy all the time. I got too much I'm trying to do. I want to get laid off. Isn't that fucked up? I kind of want to get laid off so that I have enough time to put it all into this thing. And it's not because I don't want to work, it's because I want to work more for myself. Yeah. And it's right now it's rough. I got this fucking guitar studio all set up. I'm gonna fuck around with that. I put a call out for small bands and metal artists to do my podcast with, and I got a big response for that. And then I'm trying to keep up with the dog shelters that I'm trying to help out, and then my normal videos and my documentaries and this fucking guy right here. Hi.
My little fat dog crashed out.
I wish. Yeah, he went out there and fell in love with the couch. He tears shit up and puts shit in his mouth that shouldn't be in his mouth. So we've been kind of since we got him in February, he just stays in here with us, and then he'll go out there to the rest of the house. We have a 3-bedroom, 2-story house in Pennsylvania with no one else in the house. We just have the master bedroom, and the rest of the house is stuff. There's no people out there, so there's no one to keep an eye on him. But we recently started letting him go, and he mostly just likes to nest on the couch, which is nice.
Yeah. This is where my area is, where my dogs hang out for the most time. Upstairs, they go upstairs and hang out with my wife. Like right now, the 2 dogs are upstairs. My dog is down here because she's chill as hell. Mm-hmm. My one dog and my wife's dog, they're both wired constantly because they're 3, but they're still so
puppy energy.
Yeah. And I was hoping that would be gone, but it's funny because Courage, my corgi, he was a rescue, and whoever had him before didn't want him, so they just didn't care.
Right.
And now he's super lovable, so he wants to be on me or with me constantly.
Yeah.
If I'm sitting on a couch and all of a sudden, man, I'm working on something or whatever, and I just set my phone down or take my glasses off, he's like, "What? Are we going outside? We're gonna."
Yep. Every time I take these headphones off, he freaks out. Every time.
Oh, awesome. If he'd be down here and I'm sitting on this computer chair, as soon as I get up, he thinks we're going outside, even if we were just outside.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, yeah. Dogs like that too. I love I like when dogs are cuddly. I love that shit.
Yeah,
love it.
He's super. He gets although I felt bad the other night because I accidentally kicked him off the bed. He got up on the bed, and I moved and I pushed my feet out, and I didn't realize he was at the end of the bed, and I knocked him off the end of the bed. And I'm like, and all of a sudden he just stares at me. I'm like, "I'm sorry, buddy."
That was a big fall for those little legs, bro. Corgis are adorable. I love it.
So he comes over and he lays on the other side. I'm like, all right. I pet him, and I'm like, I gotta go back to bed, dog.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Oh man. So I've been thinking about stuff to talk to you about, and I gotta talk to you about what do you think about the metal soundtracks that we used to get back in the 80s and the 90s, even into the early 2000s?
From movies?
Yeah. Because I mean, I grew up in a time where there was a lot of metal horror movie soundtracks, like the Shocker soundtrack, Trick or Treat,
Hellraiser,
yeah. You get all those, and then we get in the 90s we started getting stuff like we got the Last Action Hero, we got really good soundtracks, and then in the 2000s we got Mission Impossible, we got a bunch of stuff like that. And I just want to know where you stand as a fan on some of these, because some of these, that's the only time you could ever find those songs was on those soundtracks.
That's true. Yeah, Metallica's "I Disappear" only appeared on that was part of the Napster thing, because it was supposed to be on Load or Reload. I don't remember which one, but it got ripped and put on Napster, and Lars threw fit. It was crazy, and Lars was right about the whole thing. People don't want to admit that. Hindsight, now that we're in the 20 years in the future, it's like, oh yeah, no, he was right.
Yeah.
So But I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I've ever paid too much like mind to specific soundtracks. Like I was into specific like movies and franchise, like game franchises like Silent Hill.
Yeah.
But um yeah, dude, I think something about that teen movie craze in the early 2000s probably ruined all that shit, right?
Yeah.
Like I like Fat Lip by Sum 41 just as much as the next guy, but like that song and that style was in every movie. That was the whole soundtrack. Was that, you know, that Sum 41 Green Day vibe, like
Oh yeah.
American Idiot Green Day vibe. But
I'll tell you the one that irritated the shit out of me was when you get these really good songs, but they're only in the trailer.
yeah,
And
dude. Yeah, dude. This isn't really that. And I think they did end up using it somehow, but it's not. Anyway, and Some Kind of Monster, Metallica, Some Kind of Monster, you hear them play some of the demos, right?
yeah.
And one of the demos they play was so fucking good. I can't remember what it was called, but I remember loving it because you only hear it for like, it was like a small bit of the verse. And I'm like, put that out. I want that. But I guess they ended up turning it into All Nightmare Long, but it doesn't sound anything like it did in the movie. I just ugh. But yeah, no, like when there's something banger and then you only get it in the trailer, that is something else.
Yeah.
But you're like an anime guy, right?
Yeah, I dig some anime, yeah.
And doesn't anime keep that shit up? Like every anime is like fucking some through the fire and the flame shit. Or am I wrong? I don't know. I'm not into anime.
Well,
Every
there
time I
there are
see anime,
some,
it's
but
always like shred.
for the most part, it's a lot of synth wave,
Right.
um, and a lot of the just kind of like rock, like without, it's hard to
Like butt
explain some
rock
of that
stuff.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, and it's because I was just it was funny because I was letting my Amazon Music play on my phone in my car the other day, and all of a sudden it plays the intro music to an anime, and I'm like, huh, oh, okay. And but the one is that I listen to a lot of synthwave stuff. And Health, when they come out, they play the intro to a movie, anime called Neon Genesis Evangelion,
Mm,
and that's how they open up all their shows.
right.
And so that I understood when that plays on my
Mm.
thing, but this is just I'm like, okay, whatever. But
Yeah, dude, I don't listen to music like that. I don't let I'm not a shuffle everything kind of guy, dude. I do have like I use Spotify and I have a playlist that I've given to people who ask for it, like the Hawk and Load playlist, the ultimate playlist. And it's not that ultimate. It's like it's a lot of Metallica and a lot of Motorhead and a lot of the Misfits. It's just all my stuff in one, but I don't listen to that playlist. I listen to things like one at a time. I don't know, maybe it's something wrong with me, but that's just how I do it. And like over the course of the production of my Misfits video that I just put out, all I listened to was Danzig Misfits. So it's like 30 minutes on the way home. Anytime I wanted to listen to music, it was like, I have to listen to this. I wanted to stay in the zone on this video. And now the next video is about Pantera. So that's where I'm at. And so it doesn't lend me, look, I know, like, I think I said this last time, but like, I know a little bit about a lot of things. And then I have to do research on it to share it with everybody. And I know a lot about Metallica, right? So
yeah,
that's as far as my how deep my knowledge base goes as far as like bands. Like most people are like, what do you think about this band? And I'm like, I've never heard of that band. So because I'm bad at the way I listen to music, but I get obsessive. So I get really, really deep into it. So
no,
so I
yeah.
feel like it balances out. You know,
See,
I got the passion. I'm not worried about being called a poser anymore, you know.
see, I go through waves, man, where it's like, okay, I'm like, man, I want to listen to some Iron Maiden. So
Mhm.
I'll go and I was listening to some. I went, all right, you know what? I went and ordered Power Slave because I had Power Slave back when I was a kid. I bought the new vinyl and
Mm.
listened to that. And then a couple weeks go by, I listened to other stuff, and I'm like, man, I want to listen to some Seventh Son. So I ordered that and I listened to that for a while. But I
Right.
don't have to listen because it was funny because I posted. Sometimes I'll take a picture. I'm like, music to edit by, and I'll put the music I was listening to. And legitimately, I did. One day I was listening to the Pulp Fiction soundtrack, Power Slave, and Kavinsky, which is
Mhm.
synthwave stuff.
Right.
And people are like, man, that's a hellacious mix. I'm like, you should have seen what I was listening to the night before. I was listening to Johnny Cash, the Misfits, and, and like SOD. So I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
all everywhere.
Yeah, dude. I almost wish I was. I think it would lend itself better to what I do now. But I'll take it where the thing I get the most nervous about is when people ask me about a band I hate, because they're always like they ask me because they love that band. And they're always very like excited to ask me the question. Like, I want to know what Hawk and Load thinks about Avenged Sevenfold. And I'm like, I don't think you do. All right. I'm not like a positive vibes only kind of dude. Like, cause that shit's fake as fuck. I'm not trying to portray my life as anything but what it is.
Oh yeah,
So I'll share the bad when the bad is there. But I tend to stay away from any content that's like, I hate this band sucks, and this is why. But because I have the ability to respect what like Avenged Sevenfold has given to the genre and what they've accomplished,
yeah,
and just be like, I just don't like the sound of their music, and that's just me. That's some subjective stuff.
yeah.
So,
I get the fact that people like them. I'm not a fan of Avenged Sevenfold. I'm not a fan of Five Finger Death Punch. I mean, I mean,
I bro, Death Punch.
first album's good.
That's what I tell people whenever Death Punch comes up. But I like tried to get into Death Punch, like fucking, because I really like Ivan. Ivan is like tough. I like that. I like his voice. I don't know. And um, but I was getting to like beyond that first album, and I was only like maybe one or two songs were kind of okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the further I got, I was like, this is like, I don't think I like this.
So
But that first album still bangs. Way of the Fist is a banger. That's a
we,
good song.
I
Good
do have a
album.
bad habit. I call him Five Finger Fruit Punch, and my buddy still digs them. I'm like, I don't know. I was like, they ain't for me. I was like, it's if you dig them, dig them. I don't care, but
Yeah,
it's
that's how I was. I had a friend who was really into them, so I was trying to give it
yeah.
give it
Like,
a good shake.
oh, I used to give my wife's coworker the one we used to call Chef Metallica. He's a huge Metallica fan, and I'm like, but you got into it like after you got into it like in the load and reload era.
That's great though.
I was like, you needed to be because he's older than me. And I'm like,
Right. Yeah. So he had the opportunity.
yeah. I was like, you
Ugh.
squandered.
Yeah, he sure did. I do think though that it's a blessing. Like I think it's a blessing that I was too young to be there. Um, because I do look at like Load and Reload for what they are, and I love them. I think they're great albums. I
But
see less people shitting on them lately, like current day. Like the Saint Anger sucks is kind of the meme, but you know,
Saint Anger just sounds bad.
it
Period.
could have been good. They're
Yeah,
good songs played poorly.
yeah. You could if you went in and redid that album and made it sound
But
good,
hey,
it'd be
if
fine.
they did it Metallica now, James sounds great. Everybody sounds good. Like
Yeah,
I am so for bands redoing like studio versions of their older songs, like basically covering themselves.
yeah.
I am so for that. Like every few years doing like re-recording like Seek and Destroy. Could you fucking imagine it? Like a studio version mixed out, like, oh, that'd be so good.
Because I got damn the live album they did.
S&M or live shit.
No,
Cunning stunts.
the one it went with their little movie. The
Oh, Through the Never.
yeah, Through the Never, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really good. And those are,
It's great.
they say they're live, but I don't think they're live. I think that's studio done, but they sound
Probably
great.
fixed it up. Yeah,
Yeah.
touched up. But I'm for it. I'm all
Yeah.
about it, dude.
It just don't do it for the Aussie reasons. Just because you don't want to pay people royalties.
Yeah. Yeah,
Re-record it with the
Danzig
new
Danzig did
people.
that shit too. He tried to that's how the lawsuit started in the 80s when Danzig was with Sam Hain and started selling like Misfits collections. And then he was like getting some people to like overdub parts of the instruments so he didn't have to try and get out of paying Jerry and the other bands because there were a lot of people in that band. So I don't know if it was Jerry specifically. I feel like it might have been the guitar parts, but yeah, no, they went to battle for it.
Oh yeah, because I knew that at one point, one comic book store I worked at, we had Danzig come in when he was promoting his comics, and we got to kind of bullshit with him a little bit and talk to him, and he would tell you what he would and wouldn't sign. Um, like if you walked up to him with a bootleg, he'd destroy it and throw it at you. So, and we're just like, don't fuck with
Even
him.
if it was like vintage,
Yeah, if it was bootleg, he just and you he would and he had a guy walking the line that would tell you if you
to
had any.
check. Yeah.
Yeah, he'd be like, don't hand it to me. The first time I met him, he would not sign that big Misfits coffin box set.
Well, because that was Jerry's thing.
Yeah, he would not
Yeah.
sign that. Now the
Yeah,
last
I
time,
believe it.
I don't know, one of the last times I saw him years ago, he signed it, no problem.
Right.
Danzig, I'm like, all right,
He's
but
mellowed out.
yeah,
I think they got their shit together. Apparently, the new like the reunion that started and is still happening
yeah,
years ago, 2017, I think was when it happened. It like they were getting ready to sue each other again over something, and the talks over trying to work that out led to the reunion. So, you know, those guys are. It's just New Jersey, bro. I'm pretty sure that's just how everybody there is.
Well, from what I understand, is it took Doyle because I think Doyle's the one that's really got his head. Because from what I understand, he's got his head together. So,
Mm-hmm.
but
Doyle was, I think, the Graves era. Doyle and Chud leaving. That's how that ended. And
yeah,
then great, it just fell apart after that. Yo, is
yeah,
it cool if I smoke? Is that
yeah.
gonna be
Go
a
ahead. I
problem?
don't care.
Yeah. I don't
It's
know. Some people are weird about it.
yeah, I don't care. I was like, I got people that I've done interviews with. They're hitting their vape constantly through the entire thing, and smoking weed. I don't care.
I wish I was into weed, dude. I'd
I
love to.
I'm not into smoking it, but man, when I found
Gummies,
edibles,
yeah, we talked about that.
oh
We talked
shit.
about this. I'd love, yeah. You told me that story. You getting fucking ripped. You're like, there's nothing doing. Yeah, that's
But
awesome. I
now
don't
I
have
know
that story.
now I mellow out, man. I don't my knees don't hurt. I can sleep at night, and it's fucking great.
Yeah, dude. The first time I ever got high, like ever smoked weed at all, because I like bought into the fucking demon devil propaganda, you know?
I did too.
And so I stayed away from it. And then I was like 19 and I was working at Burger King and I had an apartment I couldn't afford right behind the Burger King. It was shit. It was like a fucking slum. And we had this guy I worked with who like was gonna come over. They were gonna roll a blunt. We were gonna get high for my first time, right? And I didn't have a bed. I had a mattress on the floor in the living room we were sitting on, and I had no cable or internet. I had an Xbox 360 with Guitar Hero Metallica, and that is it. That is all I had for entertainment when I wasn't working. And so we're playing that, and I'm smoking this blunt, and I had the same thing. I was like hitting it, trying to be careful because they're telling you, everybody tells you to be careful.
Yeah,
And then I'm like, this isn't doing shit. So I hit it, drag it again like a cigarette. Like I fucking, I'll rip these things down, right?
yeah.
And then I'd say like a few minutes later, I'm like, I have my back up against the wall and I'm sitting on this mattress, and I noticed my whole apartment start to recline for me. And I'm like, this is awesome. So I was loving it, right? But then we had to take that dude home. And I was high as fuck the first time ever. And my fucking then girlfriend the girl I was with then drove my little shitty Mazda. We took him home. She probably fucked him at some point too. She was a whore, and I hate her. God, and sorry, it's
You're all
fucking
right, man.
trauma dumping, and uh, and I was like in the back seat, bro, and every light, I was so freaked out about the cops. I'm like, because like I said, I bought into all that property. It was all sitting back there, and every light, not even just, I would say red and blue signs that were glowing from like a bar that we were passing. I was freaking the fuck out. I would like duck down in the back seat. I was like, I thought we were getting pulled over. We didn't get pulled over. Eventually, yeah, we made it home. It was like, it was. I don't think I smoked again for a long time after that. I was like, I don't like this.
See, I don't. If I do anything, I don't leave the house. In fact, I barely leave the basement. But I'll tell you what sucked was last weekend, not last weekend, weekend before last now. My buddy calls me up and goes, "Hey man, you'll go to wrestling in Detroit." And I was like, "Fuck yeah, I'll go see wrestling in Detroit." Because we went to a no ring barbed wire death match. So
where where was where's the barbed wire go?
they had a wood thing
Posts,
hooked.
just
For,
posts in the ground.
yeah,
Ah,
and well,
awesome.
the thing was not supposed to be no ring. The ring didn't get there until halfway through the event, and it was parked outside. But
Right.
we stopped at the dispensary on the way there because it's like 10 minutes down the road. So we stopped there, put everything in the trunk, close it all up, stuff. But I'm sitting there 10 minutes before the show is over, and there's people are bloody messes. There's bleeding
Yeah,
all over
fucking
everything.
bet.
This girl throws this guy, and he lands on my lap. I
Covered in
have
blood.
got blood on my right leg from the
Oh,
top of my
dude.
thigh down to my calf. And I'm just sitting
Bridget,
like, oh, God dang it.
you get pulled over, it's over for you,
Oh,
dude.
I'm sitting there. I looked at my buddy. He's like, we're fucked if I get pulled over. And he goes, fine. I
Yeah,
was like,
dude.
I'm covered in
Covered in
somebody else's
blood.
blood, and there's drugs in the trunk.
Yeah, dude. Are
And he's,
you in Michigan?
yeah.
I fucking all my new homies are from Michigan. I got a buddy who lives in,
Oh,
I'm not gonna say where, but near big city.
yeah. Well,
Not Detroit.
we drive because I'm in Ohio, so we drive. It's almost just a fuzz over 2 hours to where we go to wrestling at.
It really is that close. I don't ever think about that.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm in Pittsburgh. It's gotta be like similar.
yeah. I can hit
Basically, Ohio.
Pittsburgh, give or take traffic. I can be there in between good day 4 hours.
Well,
Well,
shit.
at least Monroe, I should say.
We should hang out.
Yeah.
Once this shit pops off and I'm private jetting all over the country, getting backstage at the Metallica Pantera show next year. I got goals, bro. I got goals. Everybody asked me if did you go? Because it was in Burgettstown. It was like right here there when Pantera kicked off the tour.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not go. I'm broke. So
well, that's like my buddy. He's going to go see them up at in Detroit,
mm-hmm.
and he's like, "You want to go?" And I was like, "Man, I don't know if I can do 2 nights because you got to get both nights tickets."
Yeah.
And I was like,
That's
if I
next
could
year, right? That's 2024. That's Pantera. That's Pantera Metallica, right?
yeah, Pantera Metallica one
With
night.
like Volbeat opening? Is it Volbeat opening for them?
I think
I don't know
Volbeat's
if
the
it's
other night. You have to pull them up there.
but
But
I'm Detroit's right there, bro. I'm just saying, like, if Lars or the social media guy sees this or me in any capacity, all right, you hook me up, I'll find my way out there. I promise you. But I just can't. I have negative $50 right now. So like it's just over for me. No, I didn't go to the show. I wish.
yeah, well, it's like
I wish.
I'm supposed to go. I was supposed to go to a convention this weekend, but I'm sitting here Friday night. My wife and I are mellowing out. We're gonna sit down and watch a movie because we haven't sit down and watched the movie together in a couple weeks.
Mm.
So we're watching They Cloned Tyrone on Netflix. 15 minutes left in the movie. This is 1:45 in the morning. My TV goes out.
It just burns out.
Yeah, the sound's still going, the screen's gone.
Yep, yeah, your backlight died. Is it
Yeah,
a big TV?
yeah.
80-inch?
75.
It's close. Yeah, those ones, they're notorious for that shit. I have one downstairs that like did that just out of nowhere, just dead, backlight's gone.
Yeah, that's what it was.
It's probably like a transistor. You could probably get fixed for like nothing.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I got it hid in my laundry room, which I got to take it out and put it in the garage so I can get it, so I can actually get around in my laundry room. But so I was like, screw it, man. I was like, God dang it. And so we finished. We said the hell with it. Went to bed, and I got up next morning. Had to go buy another TV. So all the money that I was going to spend to go to a convention, I spent on
Went on
buying
the TV.
TV.
Yeah, I feel you.
And then we had a new product drop, new Magic product drop at the shop this weekend. But they decided to drop new product the same weekend as one of the biggest gaming conventions in the world. So all the people that would normally be buying Magic off me were over in Indianapolis at one of the biggest gaming conventions.
What's the gaming convention?
Gen Con.
Games Done Quick? Gen Con?
Yeah.
Never heard of that.
It's
I'm sure it's huge. I'm
yeah,
not
huge.
I've been actually I've done more gaming content than I've done any metal content, but I'm a fucking homebody, bro. I feel like such a loser for not having like a extensive list of concerts that I've been to, but I just like when it gets to it, I'm just like, I don't have the money, I don't want to be around I just don't want to go anywhere.
See, I got that way. And then a few years ago, I was like, you know what? No, I'm gonna go. If I want to go see these bands, I'm gonna go see these bands. So I just started going to seeing bands all the time. And then last year, all these people I wanted to see, because I used to only want to go to I'd go to Cincinnati, I'd go to Columbus, occasionally I'd go over to Indianapolis. I like to try to stay in like a 2-hour circle because I like to get home.
Right.
And then a band I wanted to see was playing in Detroit, and it was almost, well, it's not Detroit, it was Mexitown up there, so it's like northern Detroit. And so you got to drive through Detroit to get there. So that's where all your time takes place, is driving through Detroit.
Get to the city.
And I looked at my buddy and I'm looked at my son because they both wanted to go. And I'm like, you want to see Perturbator in Detroit? And they're like, yeah, because where are we going to see them? Because they're from France. They played 18 days, 16 dates in the United States. That's it. They probably won't be here for another 5 years. And so I'm like, fuck it, I'm going. And then I went up there. We had a great time. I'm like, drove home, no biggie. I'm like, you know what? If I want to see a band, I'm going to go see it. I'm not going to drive Chicago because that's I hate Chicago's too far and too expensive. But
yeah, I bet.
But I went and took my wife to go see Stevie Nicks. We drove 3 hours, but in traffic it was 4, down to Louisville, Kentucky. We got to see her play for 2 hours. My friends just went and seen them like 2 days ago in Columbus, which, everybody's like, why'd you wait? It's like, one, she's touring with Billy Joel. I'm not a Billy Joel fan. I was like, and you get to see Stevie Nicks perform 2 hours, or you get to see her perform 45 minutes. So I'll go see 2 hours. Right. I saw Clutch in Cincinnati.
Yeah. How was that, dude?
How fucking great, man. I was right there. Boom.
Yeah.
We're sitting there and everybody's like, how close were you? And I bring up the video and I'm like, he's sitting there pointing at me and stuff like that. I'm like,
dude.
That's it.
That's awesome.
It was Red Fang, Dinosaur Jr., and Clutch. I'm not a fan of Dinosaur Jr., so I could have left and stood in the t-shirt line, but I didn't, and as I didn't want to lose my spot. Right. So me and my buddy sit there and it was great. It was like I said, completely different show because we just saw him back in April. Completely different set.
Yeah, dude.
Kicked ass.
Clutches, dude, they are like almost robotic, man. They just are. They are ever there, ever present. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like Clutch has always just been around and on the road and fucking killing it.
Yeah. And it's funny because I watched this one guy and he goes, whatever happened to Clutch, the band behind a shotgun, name. I'm like, what? dude, they put out
Yeah.
their best albums in the last few years.
Yes. Fuck
And,
yeah,
and
dude.
they're touring constantly. I was like, every time, because they come through this area, because they'll usually hit Cincinnati, hit Columbus, and then hit like Indianapolis or Fort Wayne. And now I'm like, hell, man. I was like, if they're 2 hours away, I'll go
Right.
because their tickets aren't really expensive. Um, I think,
Yeah, the venue looked like intimate, but in like a cool way.
yeah, it was.
Like close. That's
Well,
cool.
it was in the Egyptian room in Indianapolis, so it had all this Egyptian themed shit hanging up all over it. And we
That's
went and
stupid.
seen another band at the same venue, but it was in the downstairs area because they could have multiple
Right.
concerts going on, and you'd never know it.
Right.
And I got my wife. I found this band called Dorothy, which I guess is like a blues rock type girl, and
Mhm.
I'm like, man, this is really good. First album's great. Second album's third album's real good too. Um, but we went and seen them there, and literally in like the basement of this building, in this little tiny room. And then we go up there and we're like, fuck, this place is huge. Jeez.
Okay.
But oh man. But yeah,
I figure I figure with my current trajectory, going to shows is gonna be something I should be doing.
you're gonna have to do that.
Yeah.
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 I
Maybe just bite it and go out there. Get over the anxiety.
yeah,
I don't
dude.
know what it is, man. I'm too aware of like how what I'm doing in people's lives. Like when I drive, I'm very aware of like how I'm affecting people around me. You know what I mean? So I do that
Yeah.
in crowds too. It's like, is this person annoyed with where I'm standing? Is like, am I too close to this guy? It's I don't know. I get in that weird feedback loop of like everyone around me hates me right now. But when I'm up on a stage, I'm like, yeah, no, that's why you're here. Like I fucking love that. I'm so comfortable in front of a large crowd.
Oh
But
yeah.
like in the large crowd, I get weird.
Well, I'm one of them guys that I gotta watch it because I get annoyed by people very easily,
Mm-hmm.
and so I have to like step back and walk away from stuff from time to time. I think I
Yeah,
talked
because
about.
everybody's there partying too. Like you never know who the fuck you're gonna run into. Some douchebag who thinks you're, checking out his girl or some
Yep.
shit. Those fucking guys.
Well, either that or you get the really sloppy drunks that think that you're their best
Mm-hmm.
friend. Hey man,
Yeah, hey
it's like,
man,
oh.
get the
Or
fuck off me, bro.
sweaty shirtless guys at every
Yep.
show. It's like,
Yeah, they're
oh,
throwing their fucking arms in the pit like assholes.
yeah. I it, it, I'm getting to the point now. I'm too fucking old to be in a pit. So I try
Mm-hmm.
to get, up front, but stay out of the pit. And
Mm-hmm.
occasionally you get stuck in there. So
Get
whatever.
sucked in. Why not? Fucking, we're here.
Yeah.
We might as well.
I'm not gonna lie. I got the flat clothesline. This one dude that just would not fucking leave me alone all night. I'm in a
People,
pit.
you ever like explaining mosh pits to people who don't listen to fucking heavy music is weird. You know what I mean? There's like a mosh pit etiquette you have to explain to them. It's
Yep.
like you won't if you fall down in a mosh pit, you won't hit the floor. Some like everybody catches your
Yep.
ass and gets you back up, and like you're all banging into each other, but you're also all looking out for each other, and it's fucking, you
Yeah, but
know.
you always had the one guy.
There's also there's one guy who thinks he's the fucking main character
Yeah.
in thinks he can do whatever the fuck he wants. That's the guy who like drives on the shoulder when traffic's backed up. That's that fucking guy.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
It's my pit, man. So,
Fuck you.
well, the and it's bad that I've gotten older and I see bullshit while you're in the pit or you're up there or people are crowd surfing and shit. It's like fucking girls are at shows and guys treat them like shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that girl's fucking cool. She's here seeing this
She's here
band.
at the show. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't
Yeah.
fucking grab her. Don't
Yeah.
fucking, if you're, you're handling, you're doing this. Don't go, trying to,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Those
And,
fucking dudes.
and just pass them along, man. Let them ride, whatever. But also don't be the dude getting crowd surfing. Yeah, well, you're up there just because you're just beating
flailing
the shit out
around.
of it. Yeah, just
Yeah,
sidestep you, let you fall to the fucking ground.
yeah, dude.
But
People are people suck,
oh yeah,
but
but
people
now
are awesome.
yeah,
So
well
I've
that's what I
noticed that
like.
outweighs.
This show was one of the coolest crowd shows I've been in a long time.
Yeah, they're Clutch fans, bro. Like Clutch looked like every member of that band looks like somebody's dad. Like
Oh yeah,
but they fucking bang, bro.
and
They're so good.
those guys make everything they do look easy.
Yes.
You just
Yeah.
see him up there playing guitar, and he's just like,
Yeah, like it ain't shit, just chilling.
yeah.
Yeah.
The guy playing bass is just, and you're like, but I will point something out to you you can never unsee. The drummer mouthed the drum, so he's like,
Does he?
yeah.
That's awesome.
I pointed that out to my wife. She's like, why did you do that? Because you can now not see him do.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, you even watch some of their music videos or something. If you look, you can see him doing it in the videos.
Yeah, dude, I have guitar face, I do like my whatever, like your fucking weird little facial stretches you do when you're trying to fucking hit the pinch harmonic. Yeah. Yeah.
When I used to play bass, it was like I was never happy when I was playing bass.
You can't be happy you're the bass player.
No. Was it the how do you break up a band? The bass player go, hey guys, I got some songs.
Yeah. Dude, so this Nikki Six shit, because I haven't looked into it, but I feel like it would probably make a good video. Where was it Bob Rock? I think it
Yeah,
might have been Bob Rock
yeah, I just seen
who
that
like
today.
exposed that like Nikki wasn't playing the bass like at all. Someone else did the bass lines on like Who Fast for Love or some shit.
They said that like, oh god, like what, the first 4 albums he didn't play bass on?
Way to go, Bob Rock.
Well, that's like I watched a documentary about the was it the Rise of the Sunset Strip, and they were talking about all these bands that they hired, and they knew that they had the talent because they could play live and bring people in, but they didn't think they had good enough sound to do the album. So what they did
They
was they
Milli
bring in
Vanilli that
session
shit.
people in to play on the album,
Yeah.
then teach the actual band how to play it properly, and then send them off on tour.
Who's doing that? What bands were doing that?
They
Big
said
Crew is
Warrant,
doing that.
um,
Warrant, I believe it.
um, like a lot of the hair bands,
Yeah.
because they had the look and they had the potential, but they
They
had
just
to
weren't there yet.
yeah.
They're pulling them out of the oven too early.
Yep. So they
I
had to
got
hurry
it.
up, get them out, basically train them to do it properly by having people like, okay, this is what it's supposed to sound like. Yeah, you
Well,
wrote the songs.
they gotta have the singer at least. Like
Yeah,
fucking your front man's gotta be able to hit it. He's gotta
yep.
be able to do it. Otherwise no one's gonna buy it.
They said pretty much about the only person who didn't get replaced on some of these albums was the lead singer.
Right. Yeah. Because it's gotta sound like them.
Yep.
Vince Neil sounds like Vince Neil.
Yep.
I feel that. I
Oh,
don't know
yeah.
how I feel about it. I mean, that is what it is. If they did eventually do it, like Ozzy has a lot of really good songs that he didn't write, like
Hellraiser.
so right,
I'm coming
yeah.
home. Yeah.
Yeah, that was all fucking Lemmy, dude.
Yep.
But he has a bunch of songs like scattered throughout his whole career where he had other people bring a song to him.
Yeah.
And how do you how do you feel about that? Even a lot of the old Sabbath stuff was mostly like Geezer and Tony.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's like I didn't realize how much shit that Alice Cooper didn't write.
Right.
Yeah, those albums in the 90s, those are all written by other people.
Yeah, I believe it. But yeah, some people would have a problem with that, but I'm like, I don't know. I have a different level of respect for you if you're writing your own songs.
Yeah. Hey,
But
I get shit on because this is bad. The was it Hanson, the Mbop kids.
Yeah.
Those guys wrote all their own music, played all their own instruments, and all that shit.
Respect, bro.
Respect, man. You guys, yeah, you made some goofy ass songs, but you were like what, 8 when you put those
You're like
together?
kids, yeah, of
Yeah,
course. But you wrote them, and they fucking smashed. They
yeah,
smashed, but yeah, no,
yeah.
hey,
That's like my
respect.
wife got me listening to the band The Warning,
I've
the
never heard of
three
them.
girls from Mexico. They're the three sisters. Um, uh, they do a song called Money, Choke. Look them up when you get time. They're
Mhm.
really good. They started out doing Metallica covers.
Really?
And they were little kids. I think they were 8, 10, and 12 when they first started.
That's the
Now
best
they're
time to get
like
in Metallica.
now they're like 20, 22, and 24. And they do pretty
Like
good.
a metal group.
Yeah,
I was super into the Donnas in high school. I love the Donnas.
I do too. I still
I
do.
love the Donnas. I still no, I still love the music, but like they just kind of ended.
Well,
I
well,
think
one
Tori, their drummer,
got carpal
ended up,
tunnel.
yeah, and she couldn't play the drums anymore, and they just like called it quits after that last
Well,
album, which was really good though.
yeah,
It's a good
Fiction.
album. Yeah, dude.
Yeah. It's like finding out that they got a replacement drummer for her. Then the lead singer got married and pregnant,
Right.
and
Yeah.
they kept wanting to come back, but like life got in the way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like the band Kitty. I was hanging
Yeah.
out with uh the drummer, because Mercedes is the lead singer, so the other one I can't remember her name off the top of my head. The one of the Landers sisters. We're hanging out with them at the club. I'm sitting there, and we're at the table, and this girl sitting next to me, and I'm talking to my wife, and I keep looking over. I'm like, this girl looks so familiar. And then I realized who it
Mm-hmm.
was, and we start chit chatting and stuff like that. And I'm like, hey, I was like, are you really a real
Are
estate
you in a
agent?
band?
And she's like, yeah. She goes, yeah, I sell real estate. She goes, Kitty don't pay the bills. She goes,
Yeah.
and that's like finding out that like what their guitar player had to leave mid tour because she couldn't afford to do it no more,
Mm-hmm.
because they had to bring in a new guitar player because
Right.
he's like, I make more money.
You
So
got rent like back
yeah,
home. You got to pay, and everything goes to the label, and everybody
yeah,
takes their bit and gives you nothing. Yeah, that's how
yeah,
that industry works. That's why I think I think you and I both we're doing it the slow way. Like it's going to take a bit, but
yeah.
when we get there, it's ours, and we can do what we want with it. That's the idea. That's the idea.
Oh yeah.
I'm at the point where like I think we talked about this before too, but I'm starting to get like I don't want to call them sponsorship, but it's like business emails
Mm-hmm.
about stuff, and I don't know how to navigate that. And I'm on my own trying to figure out like, should I do this? Like, what is this? It's mostly like fucking CBD mushroom microdose gummies or some shit. It's weird stuff, and really and then a lot of like affiliate program invitations,
Yep.
which that's a no right away. And uh, I'm like, dude, I don't know that my audience of like 46-year-old men are gonna care about your mushroom microdose gummies. Like, like I have a coffee partner, but yeah, they don't pay me. They're just like basically buddies.
Yeah.
So other
Well,
than that, I'm freeballing it,
yeah.
broke as fuck, make
I,
shit.
I actually I threw a Patreon up just to see if anybody, and it's bought me this chair, and it bought me my new computer over here because my other computer was starting to get old.
Okay, dude.
You know, I made a little bit of money off it, but it's not my money. It was,
Mm-mm.
whenever I make off that is the show's
Put
money.
back into it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
put it all back into the show.
yeah.
And right now I'm like, okay, what can I do to give something back to my people? And I'm like, so now I'm thinking about doing one where people can co-host with me on a show
Right.
where we
Need
get
to be careful
together.
of that. Need some screening for
Yeah,
that.
we'll
Double
record
check.
it and everything, and I'll be like, okay, these are the episodes we're going to talk about this time, and blah blah blah. Go from there.
Yeah.
And I got a couple guys who want to do advertising on the show, and I'm like,
Do I
All
do
right, so how
that?
do you figure that up? How do you figure what your
Well,
time is worth?
when you get to, yeah, there's that, like, people, when someone asks you your rate, I'm like, I don't know what to say. Like, what do I say? If is it going to be like wildly high or wildly low, and then they're going to know that I don't know anything,
That's it. That's
and then they're
exactly
going
what
to
I'm at.
hit you with the, well, the normal is actually this, and then it's way lower than the normal actually is. So like, I have some YouTuber friends, but they're like some pretty altruistic guys. They don't do anything monetized. They make a lot of true crime content, and so I don't know. I got to get like a fucking YouTuber friend who's knows what he's doing.
Ain't
Fucking help me
me.
out. Yeah, dude. I don't know. I'm on the hunt. If you have like 1 million subs and you want to be friends with me, hit me up. DMs are open, you know?
Well, it's so funny because yeah, I'm getting messages from all over the world now, and it's
Mm-hmm.
weird to me.
Wild, right?
Yeah, and then I get like these heartfelt letters from people who tell me how, I helped them through a bad time, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I did because I wish I would have had somebody to be there when I was going through a bad, through some shit, because unfortunately I didn't deal with it healthily, and
Right.
I didn't talk with people like I should have. And these people are, and they're making, and I'm their sounding point, and I'm brutally honest with people. That's like I tell people about, being an alcoholic. I'll tell people about I was a womanizing piece of shit back when I was
Right.
young, whatever. I'm fucking brutally honest.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like, man, I can't believe you're open and talking like that. I'm like, you can't learn unless it's only what it my wife told me this one time. It's only a mistake if you didn't learn from it,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. And I'm like, okay. And I'm borderline 50-year-old man. I got my own kids. I do, adult children.
Yeah.
I run my own business. And there's still days when my wife will look at me and she go, "You need to grow the fuck up."
Yeah. Yeah. As I'm like looking at the green and red Ranger back there on the wall.
Yep.
Fuck all that. No, this is great.
Yeah, there's a white
You
ranger over there too.
That's metal, dude.
And if
That's
you
so
look
cool.
over here, which you can't see, there's stormtrooper helmets. So
I had a guy send me this awesome fucking piece. I don't know. You probably can't see it, but and I don't want to take it off the wall because it'll be a motherfucker to get back on. But this wood piece right here,
yeah,
they're it's Metallica silhouettes. It's got the hardwired glitched logo at the top, and then all four members in the like cut into the wood. It's fucking awesome. Like their
nice.
profile silhouettes. It's
I
super
got.
dope.
I would totally show you what I was going to send you, but it's literally upstairs. It's one of the big banners with a big
Right.
like your Metallica one, but it's like 4 foot by 4 foot. It's a Megadeth one. It's the Peace Cells one.
Awesome. That's
So
dope. That's super dope.
yeah, I was like, I don't got no place to put it, and to be honest, it would kind of ruin my motif down in the basement because all mine are movie posters. So
You got the theme going. This
yeah,
camera I have is AI powered. I have it all turned off, but it'll follow you. But I need to cover these fucking walls because they're dirty as shit. So if I'm looking to cover more space on these walls so that I can like move around and do
there you
shit
go.
in the room.
Yeah, this
I'm
is the
down.
big. Like I said, it's 4 foot by 4 foot.
I was on Amazon looking for a Pantera one like yesterday. Just like I don't know, because I have this Far Beyond Driven T-shirt, the Pantera logos in green, and I
Yeah,
wanted a banner like that, but I couldn't find one. You either got the white or there's the one that's all five of the covers of the albums they do talk about.
yeah.
So,
No, you got Metal Magic. You got
in the like jungle something
I had.
power
I
metal.
think if I dig, I think I still have Metal Magic on CD. So
I don't know. I don't know the story. I'm looking into it because I'm doing the history of the band, and that's gonna obviously gonna be a big part as the whole first half of their career as
a
uh
hairband.
like underground mediocre hair band with all
Yeah.
this fucking potential in them. Because the first track on Metal Magic sounds like Detroit Rock City,
Mm-hmm.
the opener, and that's on purpose because they
Yep.
loved Kiss.
Oh yeah.
So like, yeah, no, it's I just don't get why they don't talk about it.
Well, they don't want people to. Well, that's like what was it? There was a meme. It was picture of them before they went on tour with X Hoarder, and then a picture of them when they went on tour with X Hoarder. My first time I saw Pantera live was with Skid Row,
Yeah,
and they're the reason Skid Row's third album was even harder than their second
yeah.
album.
Skid Row rocks.
Yeah,
Out of the hair bands, like Skid Row's up there for me. I'm
well,
not a huge hair guy.
I
I have a guilty pleasure like song like Motley Crue. Like you can't not bang to shout at the devil. You know what I
oh
mean?
yeah,
Like that's so good.
I got
But
shot.
I've never gotten like I probably wouldn't buy a Motley Crue t-shirt. That's what I'm saying. You know?
I I had two Motley Crue t-shirts in high school. I had a Dr. Feelgood and had Girls, Girls, Girls. So
Yeah. Those are the ones. Those are the ones.
yeah, right. And the thing is though, is I'm one of them guys where I grew up in that era. So you couldn't get away from it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got to where, you know, I like Rat, I like, Motley Crue. I've legitimately seen Bret Michaels on solo tour.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think I'd pay to go see because that was my wife. She asked me if I wanted to go. She had already bought tickets. I was like, yeah, I'll go with you. I don't care. I mean, she goes with me to see weird fucking synthwave and fucking
Yeah.
and even though she only went with one, and then my buddies and my son go with me to the other ones.
You know what it is? I think when I was a teenager in high school, we were like we wanted to be 83 Metallica.
Mm-hmm.
And 83 Metallica fucking didn't like hair metal, right?
Nope.
So like hair metal sucks. And that was like the way we ended up wired.
Mm-hmm.
So it took a few years for me to grow out of that, you know?
Oh man, I went from pop because locally you could not get away from pop because we had one radio
Dude,
station.
you know what's fucking wild in high school while I'm shitting on hair metal? I love 80s pop music. I've always been way open about how much I love, like, my favorite movie of all time is The Breakfast Club. I am all about it.
I Duran Duran, all that shit like
Fucking
that.
yes,
Yeah.
dude. Yes.
Well, it's
They're
like,
all like songs that sound like they could be super metal if you metalified them. You know what I
oh,
mean? Like
well,
Nana
that's like
and
I didn't think nothing about it, and then I like Fleetwood Mac. Don't
mm-hmm,
care, man. You find a guitar player on the level of Lindsey Buckingham who plays like a banjo, three finger picking.
mm-hmm.
That's insane.
That
But
is
then,
insane.
but then you go find because Tooth Gnasher, see the Tooth Gnasher, Tooth Grinder, get them backwards, does a cover of The Chain. Great. There's another band I just heard recently that did a cover of Dreams, and I'm like, fuck, that's good. The other day I was coming home because yet again I had my phone hooked up and it's just playing fucking music. It's like Candlelight Red. Never heard of this band before. Does a cover of Roxette's "She's Got the Look,"
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, "Fuck
Was
it!"
it? Yeah, I love covers.
I was like,
I
"It's
love doing covers. I love when other people cover songs. I don't know what it is. Like I will go right for a cover, dude. I love covering songs myself, and I love when because I listen to a lot of that through that lens. Like I could rewrite this, and it could be really good. Some
we
like
did."
Blondie could be really metal, bro.
Well,
You know?
fucking in this moment where he did "Call Me,"
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
banger.
yeah,
Um,
dude.
I did when I had a band. We did a cover of NXS, "New Sensation." We were going to film a video for it. My wife was like, no, 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 because it was going to be us playing and it was going to start panning back, panning back, panning back. And you will realize our pants were down around our ankles and we're just playing. So her shit's, and she's like, no. I'm like, it's a
Don't
new
do that.
sensation. Come on, let us play this song. She's like, that's fucked up, man. She's like,
Yeah,
that's
we were gonna. I was gonna cover. me and my buddy Josh in 2017 when he moved up here, we're like, we're gonna get the band back together and we're gonna do this thing. You know, we're near a major city. I'm sure we could figure this out. And we were gonna do. I don't remember what the name of the band is, but Cars. We were gonna do. What's the name of the band that did that song?
Cars, what, Gary Newman?
Yes,
You're in my car.
yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
because Fear Factory redid it with Gary Newman.
Right, did they?
Yeah.
That's metal.
And it was, I seen that tour, and they would play, and then on the big screen behind them, Gary Newman would do his parts.
Right.
Yeah. So it was like,
that's awesome.
So
that's dope.
Oh,
damn.
Well, that was during the period of. Did you ever listen to Judgment Night soundtrack? That's metal band rap group together. Ice-T and Slayer do a song.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
I would have to dig for the fucking CD, and I'll have Faith No More and Booyah Tribe. Helmet, I can't remember, but it's all these metal bands doing songs with a rap group.
Yeah, like fucking Anthrax kicking that shit off.
Same way with Biohazard did some stuff with Cypress Hill.
I should do a video about that. I can't believe I haven't made it already. I'm sorry.
But yeah, good to talk about it. I'll go look up the Judgment Night soundtrack. And but no, Biohazard did one with Cypress Hill. And when they did that shit live, or no, Biohazard did one with Onyx. They would do it live, and occasionally they would have one of the guys from Onyx on stage with them.
Yeah.
Same way with we're at one show, and Biohazard comes out, and they're playing, and it's one of the ones they do with Cypress Hill. Well, it's usually like one of their like roadies or techs come out and does the rap part.
Right.
Nah, fucking Sin Dog from fucking Cypress Hill comes out, and we're like, fuck, we weren't expecting that. Shit.
I got really, this sounds so white for me to say, but I got really into the Beastie Boys when I was like 22, 23. Like Paul's Boutique is one of the greatest albums of all time, into the Beastie Boys. So, but that feels like so white boy to be like, yeah, I like hip hop. I like the Beastie Boys. You know what I mean? It's fucking so lame. You know, the Three Jews from New York. that band group. They were a punk group before.
Oh yeah.
They were a punk rock band.
They just happened to jump on the hip hop thing. But yeah, there's shit. That's like bands that do a cover of Mama Said Knock You Out.
Yeah, dude. Five Finger Death Punch did like a pretty decent one.
The one that I think is great is go find a band called Scatterbrain. Scatterbrain is a almost parody band. They do a song called like Don't Call Me Dude. Here Comes Trouble. All their songs are kind of comedies. They do a one called Down with the Ship, and they do little snippets of all these songs in it. So they have part of.
I know what you mean.
Yeah,
and build them together.
Yeah, but on every album they put a cover of a classical piece. So they play classical music is on every one of their albums. But they do a copy of Mama Said Knock You Out if you ever find that.
They did, not them, but like classical music fits heavy metal really, really well. It's very similar.
Yep.
That's what heavy metal is essentially like classical plus blues.
Yep.
And that's it with gain, you know, that's where it goes. I was listening to Overkill today. I didn't get super deep into Overkill, but I was listening to some of that today. So, you know, I'm rehabbing my disability, you know, of just listening to Pantera for a solid year.
I go through the points, man, where it's like I'm sitting there because somebody was talking about the top thrash bands that aren't the big four, and he's going through all these songs, and I'm like sitting there going, man, that was fucking killer back in the day. And I'm like going through all my cassettes and stuff. I'm like, I don't have that, so I had to go buy the albums that I had when I was a kid. Like I just picked up a copy of Annihilator, Alice in Hell, Canadian thrash metal guys. Then I found my other thing is I find new bands, new metal bands, but usually by the time I find them, you find out that they put out one album and it's split up.
Yeah, or somebody died. Like I got into Power Trip. Like that feeling you get when you're into a new song and you feel it getting stuck in your now brain library of songs you like. I love that. Like, but I think Power Trip may have been like the last band I did that with. And that was, a bit ago. I got pulled over, bro. So I was banging Power Trip and I was super into it at the time, getting like deep into them. And I was like driving to work and I had bad inspection stickers on my car. Because I think I don't do it on purpose. I'm just lazy, but I also think it's a scam. Okay. So I had bad inspection stickers on my car and it's 5 a.m. It's dark in like the autumn. So it's dark as fuck outside.
Yeah.
It's like middle of the night dark. And this cop is next to me, but kind of behind me. And we're about to trade. So I'm going to get on the highway and he's going to get off the roundabout like exit to go into where I live. And I see that happen. That's the only exchange that I noticed him. And then I get like a mile up the road and the car that's been behind me this whole time lights up and it's him. And I'm like, how did you fucking see those stickers? But I was banging Power Trip. I had a bunch of fucking iced coffees over in the chair that I was bringing to work. And I found out the registration was bad. My inspection stickers were out. Okay. My insurance lapsed. And this is how I found out my license got suspended. Didn't know that. Didn't know that at all. I was like 2 weeks from it being lifted, the suspension, but I had no fucking idea that I had gotten suspended at all. Cause I think they must have mailed it to my like a previous address or something, but they didn't notify me at all of any suspension. It was for the stickers again, like earlier in the year. I just pled guilty and gave him the money. I didn't realize, like, dude, that one was real bad, dude. You know how I got out of that? So I get all these citations and I have to go to, the magistrate a couple weeks later. And I show up to deal with it and I tell them I need an extension, a few more, like 20, 30 more days to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
And then so they give me that and then there's a new court date. So I show up to the second court date and there's this like cheese fucking lawyer who's representing some other guy who's there waiting to go in to see the magistrate. He's like grimy, just fat dude. Like, I don't know. He was almost a character in a movie. It was fucking wild. But he's in there and we're waiting for this trooper to show up and he's like, just doesn't show up. And that lawyer went in there and like negotiated everybody in the building getting all their stuff thrown out because the fucking lawyer just didn't, or not the lawyer, the trooper didn't show up. And then it all got tossed and I got my shit fixed. It was like fucking, I was so lucky because I was like facing like a year suspension on my license or something. It was bad. I was like, is there any way this cannot happen? And they were like, no, the only way was if the whole thing got dropped, and thankfully it did.
I got a seatbelt ticket on vacation.
It's
and
so lame.
Didn't even know it. Went on vacation, forgot to pay it. And I'm driving home from work one day. I got a guy I work with because he's under house arrest and the only place he could be is at work and at home.
Or home. Yeah.
So he's got from X time to X time to be at work and he's got to be home. So he didn't live far from my house. So he'd always give me $5 a day taking to work. Right. I'm like, shit, that puts, fucking $25 worth of gas in my car.
Pays for gas. Yeah.
And so I pick him up and stuff. We're driving home. He's like, man, dude, just cop following us. Like, we ain't doing nothing wrong. I was like, we're driving home. I was like, you're not in trouble. It's not 4:00 yet. So you had to be home by 4:00. And all of a sudden, as soon as I said that, lights go off. I get pulled over. Cop walks up to me and he's like, you know why I pulled you over? And I went, no. He goes, you don't know why I pulled you over? Like,
there's a warrant out for your arrest.
And he goes, you know your license are suspended? I went, no. He goes, says here you never showed up for a court date for a ticket violation of Wapak. And I'm like, I had a ticket? Oh, I did have a ticket in Wapak. And
Uh,
he's like, well, he goes, I can take you in. And I'm like, he goes, but I'm not going to. And he goes, what I want you to do is you're going to pull your car over there and you're going to walk home. And the guy that was with me, he goes, man, he goes, I'm under house arrest. He goes, and I got to be home by 4. He goes, he can't help you out. And he goes, sucks to be you. He goes, you better be home by 4. He goes, somebody's going to be waiting for you. And I'm like, fuck, dude, I'm sorry. And so we wait for the cop. Cop takes off. I start walking. Luckily, we run into his cousin, gives us a ride. Shit. I end up walking back, get my car because I still got to fucking go work. Shit. So I go to court, go the whole thing. I get a pretty hefty fine, but I'm broke. So I go, hey, is there any way that I can get community service in lieu of fines? And they're like, yeah, we can do that. We can give you community service. I went from 20 hours to 40 hours of community service. And I'm like, all right, I can do that. No problem. So I do all my community service and get everything taken care of. All of a sudden I start getting these things in the mail and they're like, you need to pay these fines. I'm like, I did the things in lieu of, and they're like, oh yeah, and you got to do your community service. I'm like, what do you mean I did my 40 hours of community service? And they're like, oh, did you sign the book? And they're like, yeah. And they're like, oh, they lost that book. What? So I had to do another 40 hours of community service.
Fuck that.
And pay the fines. So they got 80 hours out of me and still got the money. And I was suck so bad. And all because I was on vacation and forgot to pay and that was bullshit why we got pulled over too. We fit the description of some people who had robbed a convenience store. The only thing they got right was there was 2 guys, a girl, and it was a Ford. It was 2 black guys, a white girl, in a champagne colored like Ford Escort. And we were 2 white guys and a white girl in a, I think, blue Ford Tempo.
Right.
But the fact it was in a Ford and there was
close enough. Close enough. Yeah. Fuck all that.
So
yeah, they can come up with probable cause. Like, some of those state troopers too like to probe you, and I'm like, I'm conflict averse. I'll do whatever you want and deal with this later in a courtroom, because you can't do court in the car. Like, they're not going to listen to anything you say.
Nope.
So you take it. But the control you do have is they'll just try, like, you got any weapons in the car? I was like, yeah, I got a pocket knife. That's it. You got any drugs in the car? No. If I asked you if I could search the car, would that be okay with you? And I'm like, nope. Like, I'm going to make that hard for you. There's nothing in my car.
Yeah.
I'm not worried that, like, you can bring your K9 over and whatever the fuck you want to do. That's fine. I would prefer you did that so that the K9 can clear my car and you don't have I'm terrified of cops planting drugs in my car, because you've heard of it happen one time. I'm like, if a cop put heroin or meth in my car, there's not a person on planet Earth that would believe it wasn't mine.
Yeah.
There would be nothing I could do. Like, dude, I've been like searching up 360 dash cameras so that I can have cameras all in my car for like exactly that reason. I don't know why as I get older, I'm just paranoid of the cops, dude. I have a handlebar mustache now, dude. My teeth are bad. I got no chance. No chance.
Dude, I got pulled over. I was the only sober one in the car. I had gotten off work, went to the bar, picked my buddies up. We went over to the grocery store, got more beer and stuff like that, because we're heading back to my house. I was the only one of us that had an apartment. Everybody else was still living at home with their parents. I was the only person that had their own apartment. So we go to the grocery store, we get beer, stuff like that. We're driving home. Cops follow me almost from the time we leave the grocery store. Mind you, I kind of fucked up because I didn't turn my lights on until I was getting ready to exit the parking lot, and I flipped my lights on, pulled out in the parking lot.
Right.
I get all the way coming around. I'm 100 feet away from my house. There's a light, and then you turn the corner, house, then my house. I turn, and right when I turned the light, I sneezed. So I did that little like jerk motion.
Jerk. Yep.
Yeah.
Swerve.
And
Woo.
I pulled up, and as soon as I went to pull around that corner, lights go on. I pull up in front of my house, and cop comes around. He's like, "You know why I pulled you over?" And I was like, "Yeah, because I kind of jerked at that light there." And he goes, "No, you've been drinking. I smell alcohol." And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I literally just picked my buddies up at the bar.
Yeah.
We went, and I was like, "There's
I'm the DD, dude.
yeah." I was like, "There's liquor in the back." And he goes, "I was like, I'm going to be drinking later." And so he's sitting there. He starts giving me shit, and he starts asking my buddies for their IDs. And they're in the back seat, and my one buddy hands his ID. He goes, ask my other buddy. He's like, "I ain't got my license." Like, "Where's your license at?" He goes, "Dude, I got it pulled because I got busted for DUI. That's why he's driving."
Yeah.
Then I hand him my license. He looks and he goes, "Is this your license?" Like, "Yeah." I was like, "That's." I was like, "That's my old address." And he goes, "Where's your new address?" I was like, "Right here." And he goes, "Ha ha ha! You almost made it." And I'm like,
I fucking hate the cops, dude.
so he makes my buddies get out of the car and makes them set on the ground. And they're like, "Can we go set up on the porch?" He's like, "No, you sit right here. Sit on the curb." So I'm getting out and I'm doing the breath light. I'm doing the nose. Aced.
Always say no. Always say no to that. I would like do the PBT. Never because it doesn't matter if you're drunk or not. Like he has made the determination that you're. This is pro tip, by the way. Fucking take like there's implied consent when you get a driver's license in most states. Like you give implied consent on in Pennsylvania, it's a blood draw, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but I'm fairly certain you have the right to refuse this field sobriety testing. And you can just tell them no, because all they're going to do is film it. It doesn't matter if you're sober, if you pass, like anything you do can be twisted into evidence of you being intoxicated.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, I'd blow in your PBT, bro. I'll blow in your breathalyzer, but I'm not doing your monkey dance. Like,
But
no shot.
this earth gets better. So I do the nose. Boom, boom, boom. Aced it. Fine. Does the one leg. I'm sitting there. I was like, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. I'm like bouncing on one foot with my, moving my leg all around. I was like,
Ballerina moves.
I'm 100% sober. By this time, there's 3 cop cars in front of my house.
Yep.
Because he had to get a cop to show up with the breathalyzer because he didn't have one. So he's like, all right. So I blow in the breathalyzer. Boop, boop, boop. 0.00. I get this. I'd bet you are drunk. I'm like, I'm gonna be, but I'm not right now.
That's right.
And oh my God. But yeah, he had me doing all, and of course my neighbors are like, "Why are there cops outside?" I got all these people watching us and everything. And what's the funny part about it is one of my really good friends was a cop at the time. So I looked at him, I was like, "What's with?" He goes, "Oh, dick."
Yeah, dude. No, fucking you. There's always dude. There's tons of nice cops, just like there's tons of nice people.
Yeah.
But the difference is like you have a badge and a gun, so the percentage of assholes that you have can do a lot more than I can. Like you're allowed to fucking pull a gun out and point it at me, and if I pull a gun out and point it at you in defense of that, I'm the bad guy.
Yep, you're just gonna get shot.
Way of, you know what? In they're militarized and the enemy of a soldier is a soldier, right? Is another soldier for another country.
Yep.
But the enemy of the police is you.
Yep.
You are the enemy of the cops. Make it as hard. Make it as, don't give them. I did. I got a DUI when I was 22, and I was dumb as shit. I was drunk. I was taking a buddy home who was fucking blasted, and I was in a fucking rich white neighborhood that I did not know at all. And I rolled through a stop sign and I was in this like Subaru Outback station wagon where I think the catalytic converter fell off. Some part of the muffler system fell off and it was loud as fuck. So loud. And the windows barely worked and the tags on it weren't for that car. Like it was bad. It was dumb. And yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I did the dance, the monkey dance, and then blew a .17. And They took me to get blood. I was the only way I could handle them taking my blood was the fact that I was drunk, because I can't do that shit. I can't do needles. I was like drunk and looking away, and I'm sitting there in the hospital room with this cop, while they're doing whatever they're doing, and I go, so you guys caught the plates then, huh? And he was like, what? And I was like, the plates on my car don't go to that car. And they didn't know that, because they were Florida plates, and they ran them, like my name came up and my name matched it, but like for whatever reason, like Florida doesn't communicate with people very well, and they probably didn't have a make or model on the car, and I was fucking scot free for that, dude. I could have
You ratted
stayed.
yourself out.
I did, drunk fucking idiot. They ended up dropping, I think, all of the traffic infractions, because I was rolling through a stop sign, and some of the paperwork stuff, like the tag, in lieu of charging me with a DUI. So, and yeah, and I got convicted of that DUI. I had a chance to get it, um, go through their little like ARD
Yeah.
program, because I'd never gotten in any trouble before. I haven't gotten in any trouble since, and I just didn't have the money to pay the $5,000 in fines.
Yep.
So when it came time to get convicted, they were like, no extensions. I'm like, all right, well then, here I am, fucking guilty of a DUI. Like, I don't know what to tell you. So now I'm pretty sure I can't go to Canada. I don't really know. It hasn't fucked with me yet, but I'm sure it will one day.
That's the worst part about back when I was a drunk, man. I don't remember how I got home and stuff like that back in the day. And I'm like, the fact that I never got pulled over is
Oh, dude, lucky.
amazing.
The fact that I got pulled over for what I did, like I think I had a tail light out and I rolled through that stop sign. And I just like think back to some of the dumb times, because I was partying hard back then. And some of the real bad decisions I made to go home. I'm like, I can't believe this dude. Like, I'm not like a blackout kind of drunk, but it's been long enough now that I don't remember a lot, because it was so long ago and I was drunk when it happened. But yeah, there's some rides where I'm like, how the fuck did I get here? How did I get here? I have to pee so bad. I'm in the parking lot of a fucking flower shop pissing in a Gatorade bottle. Like, just like, I should not be doing this. And yeah, no, it woke me up though. It kicked me in the nuts pretty good and straightened me out.
See, I never got caught, so I never really, it didn't kick me in the ass until later, until my kids came along. And then the first kid slowed me down. The second kid really was like, oh man, I need to make better decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And I slowed down there. The worst one was when I was a teenager, man. My boss was an asshole. I worked at a grocery store. He showed up drunk one night, started cussing us all out. I wasn't even on the clock. I got paid extra to go help do some other stuff in the back. So I just did it in my own free time. I just
Like
got
off the books.
Yeah, yeah. And he goes out, starts cussing us out, telling us we're all pieces of shit, that we all steal from him and everything. And then he walks out and leaves the back door wide open and unlocked. And you just fucked with us and called us pieces of shit and that we stole. Yeah. I pulled my pickup truck around and we filled the back of my pickup truck with alcohol.
Fuck yeah, dude.
And we went downtown because they used to cruise, kids would come cruising around in our town. And so I was sitting downtown, man, watching these cars go by, and I'd yell at my buddies like, hey, come here. Swing back around and come closer. And he's like, all right, why? And I was, fucking believe me. So they'd come back around, I'd see them coming, I'd go and pull the tarp back of my truck, run out, throw a couple cases in there, throw this tarp back. Well, I got fucked up drunk that night. And I don't remember leaving, but I lived out in the country. So I left downtown, and I remember driving out past the high school at one point, and then I woke up in my bed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh fuck.
I've had that.
Shit. So I go out in the garage. My truck is in the garage. Everything's fine. I look at my truck. There's corn stalks stuck in front of my truck, underneath my truck. You can see where shit been banging off my truck. I'm like, So I'm driving into work the next day, and I'm driving on, and you can see where I had drove off the road instead of turning like I should have. I drove out through the cornfield, came
Oh,
back up onto the road, and continued on
no
till I got
shit, dude. You are lucky as fuck. That was lucky.
no fucking clue. I don't remember doing it. Still don't remember
All
anything
right.
about it.
Yeah, no, I believe it.
But
Fuck. It's better waking up in a cell. I had to sit in a holding cell for like a minute while somebody came pick me up. They don't even require you to be like sober anymore, I don't think. Or, but my girlfriend came to pick me up, and they like I was like bummed because she told me don't get a DUI, and then I got a DUI, so I was like, fuck, she's gonna break up with me. I'm telling the cop, I'm like, she's gonna leave me, bro. And I was like bummed out. I'm sitting in this holding cell, and they come in and like, hey, we need your shoelaces. And I'm like, I'm not gonna kill myself over. Are you fucking out of your mind? Yeah, it was wild. It was wild. Yeah, yeah. They were telling, hey, don't leave him. He's a good guy. That's what they were telling Kate. I was like, oh, come on.
I remember my
It's
cousin
a
got
funny story now, but it was a motherfucker, and I got extremely lucky that I didn't hurt anybody.
yeah. See, that's
That's where
just
I'm
it.
grateful.
I'm so glad. My wife my now wife is the one who would always come and get me at the bar. She wasn't legal, street legal, to be in the bar. She's a few years younger than me, so I'm 21 and at the bar drinking. She'd come to the bar, and after a certain time, you had to be 21 and up to get into the bar.
Mm,
And she would come up to the door, and they'd be like, "Yeah, he's right over there. Go get him." And she'd go get me. I come stumbling out. I'm like, "I got my keys," and I'm like trying to get them in, like a parody, like a movie, like
yeah.
one eye trying to get the key in the thing. And she'd take me home, and I hated leaving my car anywhere. And I had
Yeah.
my car that I loved. I had a 1987 Cutlass Supreme. Man, I had nice wheels on it and shit. It was my. And so as soon as I'd sober up, it'd be like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I gotta go get my car.
Uh,
And I'd walk my ass all the way across town, get my car, and drive it back so I wouldn't leave my car at the bar. That's just, oh my God. I don't miss those days at all.
no, no, no. There was like there's some people I miss, but none of that. It really I didn't it just came down to me. I didn't like hangovers anymore. And I was like starting to trying to do shit and make something. And you can't do that if your whole Saturday is wasted by a hangover, so now that's typical of stuff. So I'm not like whenever you tell people I'm like, oh, I don't drink anymore, they always think, oh, like they get all weird because they're like AA. And I'm like, no, I'm not an alcoholic. I just fucking didn't like it anymore. I will drink. If you want to
No,
go get drunk, I'll get drunk with you.
no. See me sober, been sober for 10 years. About 10 years. I'm happy. I don't get I
Feel
was
better,
bad drunk.
probably.
My wife makes fun of me because I Jekyll and Hyde it. Man,
Mm,
you get me at a certain level, man. I'm your best friend. I'm
yeah.
happy. Then it's like a switch just goes, and I'm like fucking evil.
Yeah, I wasn't like that. I was a crier. I would get sad, but I was never I'm thankful that I wasn't like because that's what my dad is. He like I got my mom's genes where I get like really depressed if I get too drunk and I'm like one night my buddy didn't show up to the bar and I convinced myself that he killed him like he fucking offed himself and I was just like bawling in my apartment that was the size of a master bedroom just he just fell asleep and didn't remember to come out. I was like so dumb. I was one of those guys.
My wife still tells me this story, and I remember very little of it. We were at the bar that she worked at, and I'm just sitting there drinking, and I'm drunk. She had just got off work, and I'd been sitting there waiting for her to get off work. And a guy that was a mutual friend of ours was there, and he's like whining about not having a girlfriend and stuff. Well, there's these girls hanging out at the bar, and I guess I'm like, go, and they're like, you started talking about them like they're like you're like separate them from the herd and attack. I'm like this guy, and he's like, and Tina, I guess my wife looks and goes, just just ignore him. He'll be fine later. I used to get overly aggressive, is what she'd say, and I'm like,
Yeah.
mm, don't
Yeah.
like
I've
that.
been
Don't like that at
like
all.
whenever you're sober and around drunk people too, you're just like, oh, like I don't want to be that,
Oh,
so staying, I don't know. It's not like it's a way not a big deal. I will go get drunk. I will go drink with my friend, but it's like a once a year kind of thing now. But when I do, man, I'll fucking hammer it. I'm not afraid. We'll go back there and then I'll remember why the fuck I don't do this shit. And then I won't do it again for another couple of years.
yeah, no, I'm done. My
Yeah.
I I could tell you what happened my last day. I wasn't even drunk. I had been slowed way down. I'd only go out and have a few drinks, just enough to get a little bit of buzz and be end of it. And one day I'm sitting there drinking my beer and I look at it and I slide it across the table and I went, I'm done. And my wife goes, "Oh, you ready to go home?" I was like, "No." I was like, "We can still hang out here." I was like, maybe get a couple, maybe get another appetizer or something because we're hanging out with some friends. I was like, "But I think I'm done drinking." And she's like, "You sure?" And I was like, "I'm done. I haven't picked up a drink since."
Yep.
And she's,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "I like being sober.
Yeah.
I actually remember what happens." I
Yeah. It was similar to me. I was like, I was drunk and it was the middle of the day. It was like after a wake and I had to go into work the next day and I was wasted and I already felt like shit. So like it's 3 in the afternoon and I know that tomorrow's gonna suck. And I'm just sitting there like on my couch in the living room going, why the fuck do I don't like this? And
mm-hmm.
then I was like, I'm done drinking. And I was just done. That was it.
Well,
It took until like my best friend flew up here years later. We go out to the bar and then he would drink and I would just hang out. We play pool. But then like, a couple times I went out there and drank with him kind of thing. Cause it's literally it's out at the top of a hill right next to my house. So you can get drunk, come out of the bar, and then just fall down and roll to my front door. So it's awesome. I love
hey,
that place.
the bar you go to that's on the hill, does it have really good stuffed mushrooms?
Probably. Yeah, dude. They have banger food. Banger food.
Shit. Okay. So years ago, my wife and I went, and my friend went to Pittsburgh Comic Con. We stayed at a hotel and we asked where we could go get good food. So they told us it's this bar on a hill, has some of the best food you could ever get. We drove there. My wife got the stuffed mushrooms. I can't remember what I had, but she still praises those stuffed mushrooms to this day.
I
That
don't think
shit
it's
was,
that bar. It's
yeah,
probably not that bar, but
like '05. And I was like, man, I was like, we've tried to find it again when we've been over it. We've never been able to find it.
dude, they do stuff mushrooms out here pretty good though. But yeah, no, that place has like this separate section of just dining tables, and like during the day, like you see people with their kids there just eating lunch.
Yep.
So yeah. All right, brother, I gotta go take care of this kid before he
Yep.
freaks out again. He's
All right.
he's the cue.
Yeah.
But
You
yeah,
got it.
dude, like I love hanging out. I love talking to you anytime
Yeah.
you want.
Hey,
I'm I'm
um,
here.
I'm gonna kick something out to you. You want to do a show like maybe like a couple times a month or something like that?
I'm down, bro. Yeah. We
Because
can I
I was
think
sitting there joking
they're
around. I told my
pretty
buddies, I was like,
easy to
we're gonna call it
organize.
Metal Shop. I was like, do they still have Metal Shop? And it's like, I don't know.
Probably not, right?
Yeah. So, man, you have a good night. Take care, man, and let that doggy outside.
Yes,
So,
sir. All right. Thanks, Paul.
yeah, later, man. Night.
Later, boss.